Today, I'm going to be talking to you about designing your perfect program, and more specifically, how to decide whether to use cohort-based programs or evergreen-based programs to get the best results for you and your students. My name is Grayson Carter. If we haven't met, let's just go ahead and jump right into the content. So a cohort-based program is this idea that all your students are going to enroll around the same time, and they're going to go through the program on the same schedule. So everybody's going to be at the same point from week to week. And there's pros and cons to that. One of the pros is that with a cohort-based program, there's a built-in deadline. There's an inherent deadline that, hey, this class is going to be starting and you need to start before the certain deadline, and that motivates people to get in. As soon as somebody feels like they're going to miss out on something is usually the time that they decide, hey, I need to make a decision or not to do this. And having a cohort where everybody's going to start at the same time has that deadline built in already so that people don't want to miss out on going through that class. So that's one of the big benefits of having a cohort, but I'm going to show you how to do that have that same sort of sense of urgency with an evergreen-based program here in a minute. Some of the cons to having a cohort-based program is that you always kind of feel like you're in launch mode. If every single month there may be a quarter you have to bring on new students, it's like you have to launch and then enroll those students and then work with them and then launch it again. And for me, that's just not how I like to work. So I don't use cohort-based programs in that way because I don't want to have to always be launching this to have a new group of students coming in to work together. I would much rather have that on an evergreen-based system where it's easy for people to start whenever they would like. And again, I'm going to show you how to kind of get the best of both worlds here in a minute. One of the other challenges of having a cohort is that if you have multiple cohorts going at the same time, you're essentially having to double up on the work that you're doing. So if you have, let's just say 3 cohorts at the same time, you're going to be doing 3 calls. You're going to be doing 3 different, have to manage 3 different schedules for those students. And if you're going to be covering the exact same topics with each of those students, that might not be the most effective way to be able to work with more clients. Lastly, with a cohort-based program, there can be this feast or famine that happens with your income, because especially if you're only doing it once a quarter, is you have all this revenue that comes in on month 1, but then what happens on month 2 and month 3? Typically there won't be anything coming in. So I want to be able to design my programs where I'm able to make revenue every single day whenever somebody wants to come in, and I don't have to wait for 12 weeks in order to enroll the next class. So those are some of the pros and cons to working with a cohort-based program. Let's talk about an evergreen program. Evergreen means that you can enroll your students at any time. So if somebody wants to start today, they can. If somebody wants to start in a month, they can. And it makes it easier that when people are ready, and as soon as they're ready to engage with your service, you're able to enroll them. They don't have to wait whether months or several months in order to get started. Another pro is that you don't have to be in launch mode all the time. You can be doing your daily marketing, and whenever people are enticed enough to reach out and get started, you're able to get them enrolled. One of the benefits that I didn't realize how powerful it was going to be until I started doing it was that the veteran members of your group help with the engagement and help with the motivation of the newer students. So when somebody comes in and they see the results that other people have gotten from that group, it motivates them to want to do more, to get the same results, to be that star student. And if somebody's just coming in as a cohort and they're all within or everybody within that cohort's newbies, they don't have that record of success that they can look at and say, hey, so-and-so was in my exact same position. They got this result, so I want to do that same thing for myself. One of the cons to an evergreen program is that without that explicit deadline to start, it's really easy for students to drag their feet and think, oh, I'll just get started next week, or I'll just get started next month, and they end up putting it off for a long time. So that's one of the downsides of having an evergreen program, is there's no inherent urgency for people to want to get started. So I'm going to tell you, or show you a couple of case studies and show you how you can get the best of both of these worlds and kind of combat some of the downsides to each one of them with your program. So the first thing I'm going to cover is this case study. This was a student of mine that she had launched a new class and she had enrolled 5 new students, and then was going to wait 12 weeks before enrolling another cohort of students. Now, she didn't sell this as a cohort. She'd made no promises about, hey, this is only going to be U5. She just thought, hey, people would feel weird about joining partway through. So I asked her, is that based on data or is that just a feeling that you have? Well, it wasn't based on data. It was just a feeling. And so I said, well, how about we just test it and see what people think and see what sort of response we get. So what we did was she had a call coming up. So we wrote an email that teased out what she was going to be covering in that call, what benefits they were going to get from it. And then it said, hey, if you'd like to join us, reach out to me. After the call took place, she wrote another email that said, hey, these were some of the breakthroughs that our students had. And if you would like to be involved in the next call on XYZ topic, reach out. Just from those two emails, she enrolled 3 more students and made another, $4,500 that she wouldn't have made if she just assumed that people wouldn't have been interested. Because here's a key thing is that when people join programs, there's oftentimes just a handful of things or maybe just one thing that they really want out of the entire program. So we may be giving them 8 weeks of different content, but it's likely that they're really making the buying decision off just 1 or 2 of those weeks, not all of them together. So if we're going to be covering a specific topic on a specific week, that may be the only thing that somebody wants, and it's going to be worth it to them to pay the full program price just to get that one piece. So we were able to tease out what she was going to cover and got a ton of responses. People saying, hey, how can I get that? How can I be involved? This is the sort of help that I need. And she was able to enroll 3 more students from that. Not only that, now she has a marketing strategy that as she continues to do more of these calls, she can continue to enroll students that want what she's covering that week. And so this is going to be a way that she can continue to enroll students month after month without having to wait for 3 months to bring on another cohort of students. Case study number 2, this is something that I do, so I can share a little bit of what worked for me. Since I typically run an Evergreen program, occasionally I will want to bring on a handful of students more than I normally do in any month. And so what I'll do is I'll create a special version of the program. And it's still the same program, but what I'm doing is essentially creating a cohort inside of that same program. So what I do to make it special is that I give it a theme. So it may be like, hey, this is, we're going to be heavily focused on organic marketing, or maybe we're going to be heavily focused on paid ads, be focused on copywriting, how to sell higher end programs, how to sell lower end programs, whatever the theme may be. You can really just make this up, whether it's a back to school special, whether it's a New Year's special, whether it's a summer starting, summer ending, holidays, whatever that may be. Just give it a theme, make it fun, and have everybody start at the same time. Another way to make it special, or you can do all of these, is include bonuses. What other content do you have? What other courses do you have that you can include that would be helpful to them? Include a live event. If you're doing this all virtually, people love live events. That's been a huge benefit and just a fun thing for me to do in my business is to get to see people live. Maybe bring in a partner. Like you have tons of colleagues that teach other things that you don't. Like if you specialize in fertility and somebody else specializes in weight loss or whatever your colleagues may be specializing in, my guess is that they would love to come in and provide a guest spot in one of your programs and teach what they know. The other thing is to change up the payment terms. Maybe you make the payment terms longer. Maybe you change the price a little bit. Maybe you do it where it's a deposit and then they pay the rest after they get a certain result. So there's lots of things that you can do to make this a special version of your program that incentivizes people to get started before a certain deadline. And so you're able to bring on a bunch of people before that deadline and work with them through the program. Still the same content, but it's bringing everybody on who gets access to that unique stuff that you're doing for this specific cohort of your program, that cohort inside that Evergreen program. So that is all for designing your perfect program and deciding between Cohort and Evergreen. If you have questions about this, feel free to reach out. That's all for today.